All right, we are back with another episode of the Evexia Exchange podcast with my partner in crime, Warren Gindell. Happy New Year. This is our first episode of the new year. How you doing?
I'm doing well. 2026.
Holy moly, right?
Where did 25 go, Scott?
It was crazy. It was crazy. It feels like it went by so quickly, but we get so much done.
You know, it was the holidays. I don't know. For some reason, it slows me down mentally.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where you just compartmentalize too much.
So yeah. I like it. It's a period. Yeah, it's a period of slowing down, reflecting, being in gratitude for all that we accomplished.
Yeah.
Looking forward to really great stuff for the club in 26.
Yeah.
Been doing some strategy meetings and a lot of new things happening, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and I feel a lot lighter for sure.
Do you really?
Yes, for my last episode, you know, just
Yeah.
a lot of weight off of my shoulders. I'm out in the open with it.
Well, that's a good
feel pretty
segue.
damn
This
good.
this is episode number 2 of the Warren Deep Dive.
The deep dive.
This is where we sort of talk about we move past the stories of trauma and some of the stuff you dealt with in childhood and bodybuilding and sort of your journey here, and now picks up on the healing side of your journey.
Yeah, I like that.
So I've been really excited to talk to you about this. But before we do, like, how are you feeling? Like, what's been the feedback from members watching the last podcast?
You know, I had so much in my head about doing it, right? And for me, it was, I ruminated so much about, oh my God, I exposed myself. People are going to judge me. They know so much about me, or they're going to not make fun of me, but have this connotation of, wow, this guy got abused, or this guy was exposed to this, all that stuff. But actually, surprisingly, it had an adverse effect for me, right? And some of the members just opened arms to me and felt so warm.
Yeah.
And they were so welcoming. And more importantly, it helped them.
Right.
And that's not what we're doing here at Evexia.
That's exactly what we're doing.
And so for me, it helped me face my fears. And that was one of the biggest things I wanted to do.
That's right.
And you actually helped me get there.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
I appreciate
What do they
that.
say? Healed people heal people?
People heal people.
It used to be broken people break people, or I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I like that,
Sayings,
though.
But
But
healed people heal people.
You know, and I just feel, I feel blessed and gratitude from it. One of my things about 26 is I'm going to take this year with intention and gratitude and having the pleasure of having these kind of members. We talk about it all the time. Come up to us and just connect with us. All about connection. I mean, we talked about it with Lori, that episode with Lori, all about connection.
Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to watch the Lori episode. Yeah. It was really, really powerful about
She's
the power
amazing.
connection. Yeah.
Power connection.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but I really want to touch on, because I've been with you the whole part of the way from when you first came up with the idea to talk about, you know, sort of your deepest, darkest history, and just sort of coming to terms with that, then doing the podcast and knowing that it's out and then publishing it, you know. And so there's been all these like little parts of your journey where it's like, oh my God, now it's out. Well, first of all, I did it and now it's out in the world. How do I feel? Like, tell me what it felt like. Did it feel like a release of a burden off of you, or what? Yeah,
that's a great question. You know, I remember I was talking to Lisa about it before we went public with it. She's like, you don't have to put it out there. It's not out there yet, but once it gets out there, there's no going back.
It lives forever.
It lives forever. So I was nervous about that. Once we shot it, I was good. I was still nervous, but when it hit and dropped, I was scared.
Yeah, for
a little bit, and that fear of everybody knowing some deepest, darkest things about me, it went away. And now I felt pretty light.
Yeah.
After the fear.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
You know, I'm more concerned about, I guess, my brother, my sister, my mom and my dad that are still all down south.
Yeah.
You know, if what they probably think, that still ruminates in my head. But you know what? To each his own, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you move on.
Absolutely.
Move on.
Absolutely.
So it feels good.
So this is part 2. I would encourage listeners to listen to part 1 before part 2, where Warren really gets into sort of his journey, the good and the bad. We're gonna start here with sort of the healing part of it. And I know therapy has been one of the many things you've used to help yourself heal, but you didn't always have a good relationship with therapy back in the day. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go back a little bit. When my dad was married to this horrific person during this crazy time in my life, she was enforcing that I would see therapy. She made me think that I needed it, that I was something was wrong with me. Because remember, she had 2 sons, and one was a year younger than me, and she was putting him on this pedestal. And so I was forced to see therapy. And I was probably 12 years old, not knowing what I need therapy for. And the therapist says, "Well, you're here because you have some issues with your stepbrothers and your stepmom, and so let's talk about it." And I was in shock that I didn't have any support from my father during that time. So I would go and do the therapy, and I just didn't trust this person. I felt like I was ganged up on, and so I was very reserved. I was scared to say anything. And it was really difficult for me because she would take me and make me go. Just like other parts of my journey with her, she put me in a school that was called 3 R's. There was only 8 people in the class, thinking I had a learning deficit, so she wanted to force me going into this slower education school, which you had to learn, at a slower pace.
Right.
So between that and going to therapy, I was all fucked up. Excuse my French.
Yeah. What age are we talking on your first therapy experience?
Probably 12.
Okay.
11,
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Right at that right sweet spot for kids.
Yeah.
That's when you captivate them the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And our kids really actually ready to give to therapy at that age.
Yeah, and so between that, and then it continued, and as dreadful it went, that's when I had those suicidal thoughts maybe a year later after that, because she was still there. So I knew therapy wasn't working. So between thinking that therapy would help me, actually, I think it made it worse.
Probably made it worse, yeah.
And so that's where therapy's always been really non-negotiable for me until 3 years ago.
Yeah, so bring us up to that. I think I've known you for a long time, and I know that you felt like you wanted to work on some things.
Yeah.
Become a better person, shed some of those behaviors that weren't serving you anymore. But without therapy as a tool, and before you discover some of the other things we're going to talk about, it was a long, dry spell of getting resourced. So tell us about how you got reintroduced to therapy and what that was like.
Yeah, it was, what's crazy is during that time, again, a total paradox for me, being with Lisa for 34 years.
Was she your therapist?
She was my therapist. I think when I met her, she had that 3-year-old, Ashley, my daughter, or her daughter, but now my daughter. But it was almost like Lisa was my mother figure to me. It was maybe captivated me towards her. But I started hiding myself behind entrepreneurial businesses. And so that was my codependency. And so I suppressed all those darkest, deepest feelings that I've encountered as a kid, right? And I applied that energy. That's where the bodybuilding came into play, that discipline into the businesses. And so I never understood my feelings, why I couldn't do a lot of family times and go on vacations with my family. I choose my work over that. I didn't like when I got home, I didn't have the energy to give to my family. I went upstairs, had a drink. And so there was a bunch of things in my mind, but I thought I was really good because I provided a home for my family, which I never had growing up. I had homes, but I've never had a family. Right. So I think when Evexia was the breaking point for me, because the other 3 companies we talked about, I had them to a very successful point, but then I lost them all. Evexia became, I think, a business that I knew very well, but it started encapsulated me with the energy of all the members, and it got a little bit too intense. And so I started spinning. And I think that when I really started, maybe a year, was that about a year when we opened and you recommended on-site to me?
I don't remember the exact time. I probably should know that, but yeah, probably about that time.
Yeah. It's close to it, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I figured, I remember I was telling Lisa that I need to go see help. And I didn't know what to do about that. And that's when you and I got together. And even with Kyla, right? The 3 of us, you were amazing. We filled out that application. Well, explain to me, you went to it.
Yeah. So what you're referring to is on-site workshops, which is a company out of Nashville, and I think they do. You went to the one in Southern California.
Yeah. Good plug for them, by the way.
I was turned on to these guys from my therapist, and basically it's a 1-week immersive workshop where you go and you basically live on campus with 60 other individuals, and you've got professional therapists, and they break you off into cohorts, and you basically spend a week with these people, and you are diving deep. You are doing family trauma work. You're doing group experiential therapy, empty chair. I mean, everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And it is so. It is. I don't want to say it's better than individual therapy. It's just different, and it's amazing, and it's life changing, and it was for me. And I loved it so much that I really wanted you to go.
Yeah, it's almost you forced me to go. Matter of fact, you paid for it. I couldn't say no to that because it was like $10,000. But I remember, let's go to that. I remember the application was so intense that you and Kyla sat down with me. It took us like 2 hours to fill out.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was scared shitless because all the questions that was being asked. I remember you couldn't have a drink or do anything for 30 days.
Right.
Now, I'm a person who can never share a hotel room with somebody unless it's my wife. I have big fears about that, and that's from childhood.
Right.
And I remember you telling me you're going to have to share a room. Mm-hmm. And so that was very hard for me to even comprehend, let alone I almost backed out. I think, matter of fact, I canceled three times.
You backed out at least twice, yeah, I think.
Right? And you're like, if you do it again, then we lose the money.
Right.
And so I owed it to you and to myself and to my family to step up and do this. And you said one thing to me. I remember you said you have to go all in and you have to show up.
Right.
And that's when I went all in on this one. And the best thing about this, when I got there, it was intense. I remember I was the first one to show up, as always. I got to my room, and there was 4 beds in a room. I almost had a heart attack.
Right.
Lucky enough, there was only one person I had to share it with. But I remember there was the best thing about it was no one knew what anybody did.
Right.
And so I was able to be the same as everybody else. Had I known the people in my group were so powerful in their own ways, I would never have been able to be my authentic self, because I think I would have wanted to compare myself to their success. But knowing that all in the same.
It was crazy. It's like drop your phone at the door. You don't get it for a week.
Yeah.
You just have a first name tag, and you have no idea who you're sitting next to.
Yeah.
I remember I had actresses, actors, music producers, major players.
So did I.
And it was just, but I didn't know who they were.
Yep.
Sort of out of that. But yeah, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I found out at the end we started got together and we told each other what we did. I'm like, holy shit, you're married to this person.
Isn't that crazy, right?
Amazing.
Yeah. We can't say who we were with for privacy purposes.
Yeah.
But I remember,
excuse me.
And I don't know how they do it, because I remember we're in the big room and they got all the therapists lined up against the wall, and they start calling names out like you're going to a particular team, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it happened for you, but I remember like I was looking at the therapist and I just felt a connection to this one particular one, and I'm like, God, I hope I get her, right? And it was a combination of men and women, and sure enough, I got her, and that was cool. And then the group we got turned out to be just amazing people. But I remember one of the first exercises was the empty chair. Yeah. Did you guys do that?
We did.
Where you have an empty chair, for those that don't know, and the cohort's in there, and it's 10 people, half men, half women. And you're supposed to get up, stand behind the empty chair, and explain to the people in the room, as if you're sitting in the empty chair, who this person is.
Yeah.
And I literally cried for like 10 minutes straight. I could not even speak. That's how it was. It just completely busted me open.
That's weird.
I mean, that was my experience, but this is about you. But
no, but
just to give you a taste of what that place is like.
Yeah, and so I was. It's very similar. You were in my head saying you got to show up. So for me,
you went first. Didn't you?
I went first.
See,
I went first, and we did a role where we had to introduce third person: your father, your mother, if you had siblings, and anybody else you want to introduce to the group. So I introduced the group: my mother, my father, my stepmom, believe it or not, who freaking destroyed me, my sister, and my brother. And that was incredibly powerful and disturbing at the same time. Yeah. But I went all in. I guess I set the bar so high that the therapists were talking about me, because my therapist told me and complimented me how powerful it was, because I went all in. Yeah. Which forced everybody to go up. But it was the hardest thing I've ever done. You have no cell phones for 7 days. So
right.
you're off the grid completely.
You're locked in, man.
No TVs, nothing. Nope. You just have to socialize with your group and everybody that's there.
You're eating together. You're sitting around on the deck, just talking, continuing to do the work.
Yeah. And so it was 7 days of pure intensity. And I knew at that point the hard part, when we were done, my re-entry was really difficult for me. I don't know if you experienced the same thing, but it took me 48 hours to actually deal with civilization. The minute we got home, Lisa picked me up at the airport. I remember I took my car to get gas. I almost got into a fight at the gas pump. I was losing my mind, and I had to drive to the beach, and I was scared to actually be involved with interhuman contact for 24 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was like a snake shedding.
Yeah.
And all this skin come out of me, man. Leave me. It's really, so I knew feeling that feeling that I was able to open up, that there's something there with me that needed to come out, because I had a sense of lightness. I looked at my family differently. And as well as I was looking at myself, like, who the fuck is this person? And I almost felt like this last 30 years raising my family, I wasn't that same person. I almost wanted to look at that same man and just beat the shit out of him. But it wasn't my fault. And that was the thing I learned, that it's not my fault. I just knew what I knew from my exposure, my experience. And the only thing I can do is help people. And for myself is not look back, but how to be a better person. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And again, you're like my guardian angel, Scott. In case people don't know, I mean, our 7 years of friendship,
at least.
But you believed in me. I want to talk about that real quick, because I never trusted anybody for obvious reasons, and I was able to trust you immensely. But you were the first person I told in Hawaii. I think I talked about this, of my childhood abuse when we were walking down the street. And I didn't know at what point I was ever going to come out with it. And you were the chosen one. But you've always been there for me. You helped me with Evexia. We did it together. And you made me go down this path. And so I want to call you out on that again.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it was really, it's been life-changing for me. And I haven't stopped working. That's why they call it the work, man.
Absolutely.
It's a shit ton of work.
It's constant, man. It is constant. And it's funny because we're going to talk a lot about it. A lot of the various healing you've been through and I've been through too. It's like you come out of it and you want to share it with other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this is so powerful, whether it was this or group work or some of the other things we're talking about. And that's the power of healing. Yeah. You know?
Well, you find your strengths too, right? You find out who you really are, and you try to latch onto that, right? And so for me, I'm trying to really understand. I still don't know who I am as much. Yeah. I'm getting better, but I still know I'm still learning to know my purpose. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And this is really helping me. For people that don't think they need therapy, those people I feel need it the most, because you'll be so surprised once you just start talking. Yeah. Right. And at least for me, it just keeps going.
That's right.
Yeah.
So from there, we're going to move on to your experience with group work, which is something we do a lot at the club. But when you look back at the on-site experience, is there one big takeaway from that?
You know, to show up and face your fears. Knowing that I was able to face my fear in all different levels, and have an area where you trust people in a very sacred container was very powerful for me. Yeah. Right. And so, pushing your limits to a limit like that and being true to yourself, it made me do it. I had to, there's no other option. Yeah. And so I was able to open up myself or my soul to therapy, and it's made me who I am now. Yeah. Which is I think the new me is 5 years old. I was waiting for you. Yeah. A little delayed reaction on that one.
Let me do the math here.
Yeah. The new year, new you.
You know, you're making me think, obviously I wanted to share onsite with you. I needed you to go to onsite because our partnership was, we had what we call the speed wobbles, probably more often than not, where we would, for whatever reason, we'd get sideways with each other. It's, when you have so much at stake in a business like this with millions of dollars at stake and people's lives and staff and what have you, it's just, there's a lot of tension, a lot of energy. And if you got some unresolved things, they just manifest themselves and can really turn into bigger things than they need to be. And so I really needed you to go to onsite for us and for our partnership. But when you just said yes, and when you were there, I just got a whole nother level of appreciation, respect for you, because I knew what you were up for. You did not have any idea what you were in for, but I knew what you were in for. And I knew you were going through it. And it just, for you to say yes to that was a huge, huge part of our evolution as partners.
I appreciate that.
And friends, man.
Yeah, and trust.
And trust.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to honor that. I'm getting a little misty eyed thinking about it, man.
That's good.
And so for me, Onsite was my first experience of really doing group work. And that was like group express, like therapy work, not like men's and women's group work, but still it was the power of being in group led by skilled facilitators. And it was what gave me the inspiration, as we've talked about in previous episodes, to bring that kind of stuff into the club. We're not trying to recreate a therapy clinic, but we are trying to create a really cohesive and beautiful, magical community of people that support each other and feel authentic and vulnerable. And group work was a natural extension of that. So through mutual friends and members of ours, they introduced us to BJ. And then ultimately to James McCleary, who's been on the episode. And we started doing and still do men's and women's work. So you were in the first men's group that we ever did, probably 2 or 3 years ago, that's still going today. You're not in it. We both moved on to start other groups. Tell me about the group work and because what I noticed for you, just like you dove in at Onsite, you were always one of the first to just literally get right to it in group work.
I think I was the first in this one too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you started the group for a little bit. You were with us and you moved on. Yeah, I was, once again, scared shitless to do this, but I knew the impact of the Onsite, that I needed more work for myself, right? And it just felt good to open up. Man, it feels really good to open up.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't know that, but you get rid of that ego. I think if more men did group work, and I'm calling out men, this world would be a 10 times better place.
100%.
I really, really believe that. And what's cool about the work is your femininity side comes out, where it's, your emotions come out, you become a better person, you get more sensitive, versus if people don't do work that are your close friends or in your close space and you do work, it's like you're here and this person's still here.
Right.
They don't understand who you are. So when we did you decided to do the group here, we had at least 20 fantastic members, men that are in our group. I guess our first day we hung out on a circle. I was used to the Onsite.
Yeah.
I went deep, and it was harder for me as the owner of Evexia, one of the owners, because everybody knew who we were. But I wanted to challenge everybody that were in the group, because we basically had an agreement of a closed container, sacred container, that this is where we're going to be trustworthy with everybody. So jumping in right away, I wanted to prove myself as one of the owners that if I can throw myself out there to these men, then they shouldn't be afraid of anything, because I have not more to lose, but it is under our umbrella. So I did that, which caused a ripple effect for these guys to come in and do the same. The great part about it is we ran hard for every Tuesday for a good 2 years or 2.5 years before I moved on. I realized we all have our shit. We all bring our shit, and I learned more by listening to everybody's shit than speaking. And so I became a better man because I knew I wasn't alone in so many things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that group was super powerful for me. And when I see the men in this group, it's the connection that I have, which is amazing, totally different than anything else.
Yeah.
I'd rather go have dinner with those guys than people that really don't know,
Right.
Because there's a lot more substance behind that.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to do, Scott, is kind of cut the fat around myself in the social aspects, and really surround myself with just the bare minimum of people that I really connect with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that worked really well.
Yeah, it's been great watching you do group work, be so vulnerable and so open and courageous, and watching how other men respond to that.
Yeah.
And I always remember some of the first comments from men that were in the first group that they had no idea men could communicate like that.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're talking about like 50, 60-year-old guys that are like, I had no idea men could communicate like that. And we're free to do it. And, crying in front of each other and holding space and literally hugging each other. And it was crazy.
Yeah, I think it was the first day, the first episode, the first night, I think I cried like a baby in front of all the guys.
Yeah.
I really showed up. But it's interesting, when you cracked open, the tears come more frequently,
right?
Because they're just there. I remember BJ was telling me, you don't wipe those tears, man. You let them just pour down your face and let them absorb on their own.
Absolutely,
and I love that. It's like tears of honey coming down your face.
I don't know if you still do it quite as much, but there was a time last year where you would cry at almost any time you were talking about anything remotely like deep or sensitive. You'd start crying.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I ran out of tears, man. My tear glands are dried up. And that's so funny, right? Because therapy, or whatever you want to call it, the ego, right? Crying, men don't cry. It's like, that's bullshit. Men should cry.
Men should cry, absolutely. Yeah. Laugh and cry, and I try to cry I try to tap into that as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
You've also done group work, co-ed group work.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the different dynamics there.
So we did the retreat.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with that, right? In Costa Rica 2 years ago, we had 15 people, or 16. It ended up being 8 and 8. I was really looking forward to that co-ed part of it, just because I was so used to, onsite was co-ed as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
But for 4 days or 5 days in Costa Rica, it was great because the sides you hear from a woman's perspective on their feelings and what they go through. I mean, granted, I feel women, at least at Evexia, right? I think the women's locker room is the most popular place for women to communicate.
It's like a therapy clinic.
It's like a therapy. Women have this ability to socialize and open up just on the fly, and they're very comfortable doing it. We're men, obviously. We have these egos, and we're not supposed to open up like that because there's judgment. But when we did group, especially on check-ins, man, that was the most beautiful part of the therapy sessions is in group, is when everybody checked in about their shit. I remember there was one person who checked in and there was nothing but crying when she sat, and she cried for the whole, you're taught not to touch that person, right? Not to, first thing you want to do is coddle them and help them, but you do the opposite of that. You let them go through all that trauma they do. And I witnessed that. And then when I see a female cry, there's a different emotion for me, and it really touched my heart. And then hearing the trauma behind that really touched my heart. And so being able to open up to women in a group makes men more vulnerable in my mind, because their egos go away, because they don't have to prove themselves to the women and be like, I'm a tough guy. I don't cry. It's the complete opposite of that. So I think it gave me the strength to even go deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the beauty.
Yeah.
Right. Because I would care more on what a female would think than a male.
Right.
I think any male would think that way.
Yeah. And it's nice to drop that and just look at each other as the same human beings.
And how much shit they have too.
And what you're getting me to realize and think about is that every time I've done group work with women, you realize how much of their trauma is related to men misbehaving in their lives.
Yeah. Whether
it was partners, fathers, or what have you, and just you start to see the complex interrelationship between unhealed men and women that are doing their work.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a greater understanding and empathy for the work that we need to do as men in the society, man.
It's amazing. So we have the group now that we've been running here at Evexia, right? It's been going on for 6 months. The co-ed group, we meet every other Monday. Yeah. And Lori and James are the facilitators. And there's quite a bit of people in there, but it's more women. There's maybe 14 women and like 4 or 5 men.
Yeah.
But it's amazing every time we hung out and we do group, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I learned so much more from these members. And that's the cool part, is that they're all members, and we can share. When I see them in the club, it's instant hugging. It's instant like connection. And that's the power of group, is connection, man.
Yeah.
It was what we're losing, right?
Yeah.
That's the cool. We don't segregate. We don't, men are here, women are here. It's like, let's all do it together as a community.
As a community.
That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The one of the challenges with group work is you guys are meeting once every other week, I think, right? And it's only for 2 hours, and for 14 people to try to get through their stuff in 2 hours, it can be very difficult to do. And so we took a lead from something that James had done with an organization called the Inside Circle, which I'm proud to announce I'm now a board member of.
Oh, nice! Congratulations!
And I'll be working to support them, raising money and just helping them grow and flourish, which is my way of giving back. But Inside Circle is a group that James did, where he took group work into prisons, right? But one of the things they also do is they do these things called the Outside Circle, which are these weekend immersive, where they bring in recovering prisoners that have gotten out and are rehabilitated through group work, and then get basically common general public in there and do this work. And you and I have started to model retreats like that at Evexia. We call them basically the Evexia weekend transformational retreats. And what I like about that, and maybe you can talk about the last one that we did, and we got one coming up at the end of February.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will be out before that, and we have spots available. This is where we said, okay, we took that group that you're doing the work with and said, okay, now we've got basically 2 full days, like 3 days, a half, a full and a half, which turned into another full. It really gave people the space and the permission to really dive in. Talk about that retreat.
It's insane. The people that showed up to that one, they got so, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, it was a 15.
Yeah.
And I say that proudly because they all got so much what they wanted to get out of this retreat. They showed up. James and Lori, we had the props. We did role playing. I was somebody's deceased father, and they were talking to the father. Like they never had an opportunity to really share what they wanted to share. And so she was able to do that and really get the most out of, I mean, she was a whole different woman, right? And so the power of that and having everybody's support, each individual is amazing. And so you just come, and it's the 3 days of always being together, opening up your hearts and your soul for each other. And then at the end, the affirmations you give one another. It's life-changing. Yeah. Just in those 3 days, we're going to do, I mean, I think most of them want to sign up for the next one. Yeah. But it's such a powerful tool when you do open up and you allow that space for other people to bring their shit and hear so much trauma from each person that we can provide that space for them. It's life-changing. I mean, there's so much tears. It was just, it's like I said, it's a beautiful, it's hard to explain.
You know, when I think about group work, it's not something I don't know if you find it at any health club or gym. No. Certainly nothing you've been involved with. And
I mean, close.
You know, it's you could argue that it's not really part of our core business, but you and I believe so deeply in it. Talk about why you think group work's important to be something that we have at the club, because we don't really make any money on it. It's actually in some ways a loss leader for us, because any money we make on the retreats go to the facilitators, and we pay the facilitators to run these groups. But I'm just curious what you think. For me, I just think it's such an important aspect. It's almost like you got the physical health, you got sort of mental health, and then you got emotional and spiritual health. And I think this just helps sort of round out that offering. How do you feel about the fact that we offer group work at a health club?
It's a great question. So you know the term walk the walk?
Yeah.
So I feel that's a big part of it. Like, I guess before onsite, I don't know if I would have been so interested in doing group work. Yeah. But it's post onsite and doing my own work. It is such a health club or a gym. You know, we don't like to use the word gym. It's more than just building a nice body or building muscles or building strength. You know, it's also mental health. Right. And for me, that's such a big component of it. And more so now, since I started really with intention on working on myself, that we have to be part of that. It has to be part of our DNA here, because without a place that if you can come to a place and have it all right there, I mean, nothing's better than that. Right. It's convenience. And, you know, if it's not convenient for somebody, if there's too much work to how to get something done, or I got to set an appointment, I got to go here, it's another place. But if we can provide everything under one roof and have this wellness platform, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. And we're so connected with these amazing people, amazing members, that they're willing to offer their time to facilitate. Yeah. Right. So it's an environment for you and I to have for ourselves, but also for the community to even get better. So why not give it to our members? And we're not in it on the monetary side. The gym part is, yeah, you make money, you make a business, but there's that after effect from it, right? It's the more you give, the more you get back. Right. And I really believe that we have to provide a space for our members and our community, because there's nothing else that's available to them. Yeah. And authenticity, right? And if we're able to if the owners, you and I, can show up and they can hear our story, shit, they're going to feel comfortable giving their story. Right. And so I don't want to call us the innovators, but we are a little bit. But it's not. It's intention behind it, right? We generally want to help people.
Yeah, I think we can definitely take that honor of innovators in this part of the health club space.
Yeah, I'm with
for
you.
sure, because I haven't heard anything like that.
See, that's my low self-esteem.
No, you're humble. You're humble.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I think group work is an important part of the club and something we're going to do for a long, long time. What surprises me is just how few members take us up on it. It's a free, aside from the weekend retreats, which aren't that expensive. And again, that money goes to food and sound healing and the facilitators. But the co-ed group and the other groups, these are free groups. And I just, maybe a lot of these folks have groups that they're doing, but it's been really surprising how few folks have taken us up on it.
Yeah.
Do you have a theory on that?
I don't, but my theory is how I used to be. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do it. I don't want to show up for it. I don't want people to know my shit. I don't want to be judged. All this noise that we have in our head is, I think, a big part why they don't show up for group. Same thing with some of our other lectures that we do. We have, a good amount of members, and luckily we get 10% show up, even 5%.
Not even 5, yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's with relative to group, I think people are in denial of that they need therapy, or I don't want to call it therapy, but connection, but the connection lab we do is pretty powerful.
And we've got one coming up. This will probably drop right before the Connection Lab. That's probably one of our most popular events, which is a 2-hour thing that we do on the weekend where Lori and James, or sometimes I'll co-facilitate it. And it's basically what we're talking about, but in a really collaborative way. And Lori has different exercises to help people sort of break out of reluctance to talk and be vulnerable and so forth. It's amazing how deep people go quickly in the Connection Lab.
You see, what's funny about that is I've never been to one of those.
Yeah.
But I've gone to, I'm participating in our groups.
Yeah.
There's something about that for me is different, is I know it's a container, but I want people to commit.
Yeah.
And that's my story, right? As I commit, I'm going to see it through for it's not like a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Right. I think the Connection Lab is great for people as a entry point to another group.
It's a great entry point for sure.
Right.
But even on its own, for those that are considering, it's still a great standalone event.
Right.
So I would encourage you, before we move on from group work, any members out there, if you have more questions about it, just talk to me or Warren in the club if you see us. Like, hey, I heard your podcast. I've been thinking about it. Is one coming up? Is it right for me? And we'd love to just tell you about it.
Yeah. Something you said, talk to you and I. One of my big things when we interview our team is I really stand for an open door policy. And every time we hire people, I always want to talk to them, whether it's front desk. I talked a lot more with the trainers because I spend more time with them. Actually, I spend time with everybody. But my thing is an open door policy. Come to me at any point of the day or any time about anything. If it's anything from the outside, we want to talk to you. Anything we're doing in the inside that you need to be talked to. I want members to feel the same way. Is that we're very approachable, and we can help you in anything. We want to help you. Right. And so ask questions, we're available. It's a big, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot on that, but
no, you love it. Yeah.
I really want to keep helping.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come up and say hi and talk to us about any questions you have about this type of work. So then after, on site and then being in multiple groups, having done retreats, you then reconsidered one-on-one therapy again.
Yeah.
Tell me about why you decided to do that and how it's going.
So, it's a great question. You get a lot of good questions, man.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah, that's what you do. So I needed more time for myself to talk about me. And I haven't had the opportunity to really find that right person. So I met with a psychotherapist. That was I was really nervous to do that. That was a year ago. I carry a lot of thoughts. My head doesn't stop. Maybe that's an entrepreneur, but it's just my mind. And I'm always trying to do things better. And I'm always trying to be better. And so I've been having a hard time to sleep. And so so I met with him, and he introduced me to a therapist that he felt would be a good match for me. And she's, I've never really worked with a female therapist, so this is my first one. And she's been great. She's younger, which was interesting for me. But I decided to give it a shot. And what I'm finding is She doesn't do a lot of talking. She does a lot of listening, but I needed to digress more of my thoughts of my childhood, the kind of the separation I have with my siblings and my mom and my father. It's like, I feel like there's a playbook.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so I was seeking out therapy. And so I've been meeting with her once a week. And it's been really good. And it's like a sounding board. I need to let things off of my chest outside of meditation and in the group. And so I gave myself an opportunity to, it was really scary to seek one-on-one because I was diagnosed earlier on. I had another therapist way before this one. So when I first started therapy, this was a year and a half ago in the city, and I just I forced myself to see her. There was another female, but she just wasn't doing it for me. She diagnosed me of complex PTSD. She wrote a book on it. It wasn't why I didn't connect with her because she diagnosed me with complex PTSD. It was she wasn't giving me any good vibes. And so I can't do any therapy with Zoom.
Yeah.
I have to be in person.
I agree with you on that.
I gotta feel you. I gotta connect with you. So that one maybe that was my first opportunity back on a one-on-one therapy. So I wasn't really comfortable with it. But I did respect the complex PTSD because that makes a lot of sense for me. And it's actually interesting because that is what I do have, because a lot of these past traumas, when they do come, they felt like they were yesterday. She said that would happen. As you start doing more work, things surface that you forgot about that come up quite just like a ton of bricks. Yep. So that one didn't do well for me. So that's why I seeked out the psychotherapist and I met my therapy. And I'm finding when I'm done with her every Thursday, it's intense for me. I have to land my plane a little bit. I like silence. I like to just ruminate on what I talked about. But am I going to continue with it? Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's there's something to be said of just getting everything off your mind. I've learned the term equanimity, which I'm learning how to be less reactionary. Yeah. And I think my one-on-one therapist has helped me get to that point where I don't react like I used to. Yeah. It's really helped me. Yeah. On a personal level, on a business level, I think I've been a better boss for our club. No doubt. Because I'm not as intense as I used to be. So it's the one-on-one definitely is a different dynamic than group. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I agree. One-on-one was critical for me in sort of my what I'm calling my midlife passage spiritual awakening, and it sort of opened me up to everything else. And it reminded me, one more plug for group work, particularly whether it's here or somewhere else. Therapy is expensive, man. Yeah, it is. On-site was expensive. One-on-one is expensive. Cost prohibitive, honestly, for a lot of people. And group work at Club Evexia is free. Now, it's not therapy, but it's, you can get a lot of the same things and sometimes more than you can from therapy in a basically a complimentary offering from Club Evexia. So just another plug for group work. Yeah, and the connection you have with those people. I mean, that's the friendships you develop, right? Because there's that incredible bond, man. That and you talk your shit through. Even when you're not in therapy and you're here at the club and you see the people, you just have this, like I said, have this connection that's uncanny. Well, just two examples of the very first group that we were in. Two of those guys, one of them I meet regularly because I'm in a band with him. We play music every week. Yeah. And the other one I meet monthly, and we do Philosophy Friday. And these are guys that I got to see sort of expose themselves and what kind of guys these are. I was immediately connected to them. We saw some common interests, and boom, now I've got really great friends that I'm doing meaningful things with that come out of the group. Yeah. Let alone the benefits of the work of the group. So I was told it was 75% of your learnings in group is listening. Yeah. That's the power of the group. Yeah. Right. And James, man, he's great. He has taught me how to meditate the pies. I think we talked about it, where every morning, you wake up, and the pie is acronym for how you're doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. And you check in with yourself on that on a daily basis, multiple times a day. And when you do that in a group, it's interesting because you hear everybody do that exercise, and you can totally relate on how that person is feeling that day, on how you feel either that day or how you felt the day before. It all intertwines. Exactly. It's bizarre
Exactly.
and powerful.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need to get myself back in a group because I'm currently not in a group.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking. Maybe we'll start another one at the club.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. I love it.
So we're going to move into one of the last tools you've used for therapy, which is cutting edge, which is sort of outside the mainstream, getting a much more look from the mainstream, and that is what I'm referring to as entheogenic medicine, sometimes known as plant medicine, but not all of it's plants. Sometimes it's synthetic or what have you. And these would include the categories of medicine like psilocybin mushrooms, LSD. Ketamine is a big one that's actually legal and being administered by many therapists out there. And there's even MDMA used in a clinical therapeutic environment. And then there's one called Bufo, which is 5-MeO-DMT, and this is the molecule extracted from the Sonoran desert toad. Don't ask me how they found it. Some indigenous tribe many years ago must have discovered this. But you've incorporated the use of Bufo occasionally into your therapeutic journey.
Thanks to Kyla.
You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, because I'm not ashamed of it. Matter of fact, I recommend it. The first time was at your place, and Kyla was administrating it with amazing. I was nervous to really do it because of the misconception people have on it. Mm-hmm. You know, look at it as a drug or whatever it is. And I went in, went through the process. I surrendered to it and had the most profound experience I've ever had in my life on that one. I'll talk about the second one after that. But the first one was, for the very first time in my life, I found peace. I remember, you know, you smoke it and they dropped me back. I was intense. I was tensing up, and then I heard this beautiful voice and I surrendered to it. And it was this voice, this woman, just nothing. It was just dark, but her voice was talking to me about everything's going to be okay. And she was so sweet and so pleasant that I was able to fully relax and have peace for the very first time. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had. It was the most peaceful experience I've ever had. Never felt that before. And then coming around to opening up my eyes, seeing you and Kyla above me, the amount of love I felt was it's hard to explain. It was just amazing. It made me really realize what my journey is all about. Why am I really going 1,000% all the time? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. But to have that moment of peace was worth every second for me. It basically rewired my mind when I came around, which was absolutely amazing. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the drug, what it did. But now, since my second time around, should I go into that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was probably a year later when you guys invited me to a much bigger ceremony down south in LA. There was, I don't know, it was like 110 degrees. There was 50 people there, and just the people alone was beautiful, right? But on this journey, I also have something for which I got this rock. Well, this what you call
stone.
It, like stone, like a almost like a gem or a. Yeah, I'll call it a stone. I got it there when I was done. It's in my pocket every day. This was 6 months ago. But this is the journey where I went with intention to understand what I was seeking. And I was really seeking clarity on just where my life is today. And for the very first time, I experienced death in a very positive way. And so what I mean by that, as I was dropping back, I saw this white light that I went to, and it was such a beautiful experience for me. I never wanted to let it go. And I always wanted to live my life at that point, moving forward with gratitude every freaking day and with the intention. And that's what I meditate towards. And it was from that journey made me really dig deeper into gratitude. And so I carry this rock because they say is, how do you not lose that feeling? Because when you finish, which is crazy about this, the Bufos, when you come out of it after 45 minutes, you can go back to work. You're like, you just have that beautiful memory in your head. And they say, well, you never have to lose that. Just always go back to that feeling. And what reminds me is this. Every time I have it in my pocket and I get stressed out, I put my hand on it, I rub it, and I go back to that moment.
Right.
So just alone makes me, it centers me.
Right.
And that I never was able to do before.
Yeah, that's amazing. They say the integration is a critical part of that experience, because with that particular medicine, it comes and goes so quickly that if you don't have anything to sort of anchor to or stick with you to integrate into your lives, it could just seem like a real pleasant dream that just came and went. Yeah. And so I thought that was really amazing that you did that.
Yeah, and that was great, because at the same time, when same experience coming out of it, people that hold your space for you, you're just, the connection for those people that are with you, you have even more, but it's an amazing experience that I would definitely recommend. If people are trying to do the work and trying to figure some things out, definitely find the right person who can administer it to you, which I'm going to plug Kyla, which is your better half. Mm-hmm. She's amazing. She gets it. She understands how to do it. You feel comfortable with it. And it's just a powerful, powerful tool. I actually want Lisa, my wife, to witness me do it.
Right.
Which could help my marriage in a way.
I think 100%.
Our marriage is really good, but to see her, the joy or what I look like under that, I think that helps out.
The power, that's what I've noticed in the ceremony, is the power of witnessing.
Yeah.
In some ways can be just as powerful as actually doing the journey itself.
We witnessed that last week with your friend.
Absolutely. So how would you explain, we're talking about this whole tool chest, right? You got immersive group experiential work. You've got more informal co-ed and group work. You've got one-on-one therapy, and then you've got entheogenic medicine, and they all offer something different. Like the medicine part, because we've always said, for those of us who've done all of it, you can only get so far with each one. And some are able to tap into another level through deep meditation, vipassanas. They're even locking themselves in caves for a week at a time, completely blacked out. And there's all kinds of different ways to try to solve the things we're dealing with. What is it that you think this sort of medicine was able to let you tap into that you can't talk your way through? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a great question. What I do know what this medicine has done for me, it has incorporated everything that I'm doing into one. It's tied in my group, my one-on-one, and my self-doubt into all this, into a positive. Mm-hmm. So it's like connect all the dots for me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So it's made me find peace. It's made me understand how to not take everything so seriously, and live present day by day. It's really, like I said, it's really connected everything. It's pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful. Kyle and I like to use this analogy of a raindrop finding its way back into the ocean. Like we live our lives we think we're this individual raindrop, right? And what this type of work does is it connects us with the broader ocean, which is sort of universal consciousness, the interconnectedness of everything.
So kind of what I just said.
Exactly
that's wild.
Said.
Yeah,
exactly
it's definitely. It's almost that's your reward, right? Meaning you do this. And all the stuff you did with the group, my deep stuff with my one-on-one, and you do this, it kind of ties everything into place, because you have that sense of, just like I said, peace, gratitude, and understand what death is in a really powerful, good way. Yeah. Because I can't wait sometimes to see that light again.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We can do a whole episode on that. Indigenous cultures have been using medicine like this for decades and decades. James has a concept, what he likes to talk about in his work, which is called looking at the hologram of your life, right? As opposed to this like two-dimensional or three-dimensional evaluation of what's going on. Which I love, looking at the hologram is sort of allows you to step away from yourself and your identity and your ego and sort of look at your life and everything about it as if it's a hologram. And he's been able to tap into that. He's done medicine in his life, and he's a shaman with 2 different tribes. And he's able to do it through other work that he does. But that's for me and for you what entheogenic medicine allows you to do.
Yeah. And so what is the connotation why people don't do it, right? Is it because it's a judgment?
It's a stigma. It's frankly,
That's what's crazy, right?
It's a stigma. It got a lot of these medicines are still considered Schedule 1 drugs,
right.
and that just kind of throws everybody off in the culture,
Right.
But they're also realizing. I think there's a documentary out, Waves of War, which talks about which I forget the medicine on that one. Waves of War is a documentary where facilitators of using ibogaine, which is another medicine, to treat combat veterans that are suicidal, because the highest rates of suicide are in combat veterans. And this thing has completely rewired their minds and allowed them to reach this peace, to deal with the concept of death, to overcome PTSD in a way that nothing else has been able to do.
And that's what you just
Period.
said. Yeah, right? Period. That's this last journey I did with you guys in LA, it rewired my mind a second time on such a laser focused way where I know what I want. I know how to get it, meaning not monetary, but just how to live my life now.
Right.
You know? And it's sad that we don't take the leap of faith and trust the process because we're afraid that people are going to put us in this category of, you do these drugs, you're a bad person, you're an addict, all this crazy shit. Yeah. When you're just trying to be a better person.
But yet the alcohol industrial complex is alive and well in America.
There you go.
Yeah.
So say alcohol, I mean, instead of getting their stress relief, they're going to drink a bunch of alcohol and get more fucked up.
Yeah, we have friends that we've introduced the medicine to. They know I don't do drugs, but yet they'll get hammered on martinis and beers and who knows what.
Total paradox.
So self-destructive in so many ways. So let's move into as we start to wrap up, all of these different things. Hats off to you, brother.
Thank you,
doing
man.
the work, man.
That's a lot of work. When you laid it
out like that, it's like
shit. What am I missing? Am I missing something?
And you're still doing it. You're still open for medicine work. You're still actively in a group. You're doing the retreats. You're mentoring and advising members on just random coffees. People are coming to you because they see it. Yeah. So hats off to you, man.
Thank you.
Hats off
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
So let's talk about the daily lives. I know meditation is an important part of the way you start your days. Yeah. Talk about that and other things you do to stay grounded.
I love that. So I'm a little crazy. Like this morning, I was up at 2:30.
You are crazy.
I know, right? Certifiably crazy. So 2:30, 3 o'clock, I'm up. I make a cup of coffee. That's my routine. I'm always on my couch. Always will get a fire going. I will listen to a couple of spiritual awakenings and guidance, and then I will go into a position of sitting up and it's on my couch and play some really cool meditation music, unguided, and just close my eyes after going to bed. I go to bed this was kind of crazy. Kind of bummed about it because sometimes I feel like I'm missing things. But last night I was in bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock usually. But I'm up that early. So after I meditate, it's interesting when I meditate, I'll either do for 10 minutes or an hour, depending upon how I fall asleep. If I fall asleep, get up, look a couple of emails, go to Evexia. This morning I'm there between 4 and 4:15. Work out before people get in, roll out of here by 5:30, and then go back home, just chill a little bit, and then start my day with intention and gratitude. Right. And
fantastic.
That is my daily routine. I am definitely dying to get to Maui though. And that's coming in, I think, next month. Yeah. That's my other grounding.
Yeah. That's another, for you, that is another therapeutic, that's like an immersive therapeutic environment for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you look back at the old version of yourself, what does he look like to you?
Somebody that was lost in his work, selfish about his work, careless about his decisions during work, a little bit. Very loving person, but man, I don't want to say selfish, but I guess I'm gonna call selfish because there's no way around that because I didn't want to be. It's not I didn't want to. I just thought work was the ultimate savior for me to support my family, and not be true to my family because I wasn't true to myself. And so for now, and to my business partner when I first started here, I was all over the place. And now I have clarity, I have intention, I have gratitude. and I want to help people, and I love what I do. That's the best thing about myself that I feel is I've always stuck to what I love. Is my passion is fitness and wellness. So I think that's the only silver lining of my past for me is that I stuck with the fitness and wellness side, and I'm able to really help people with that. Fast forward to now, I feel that I'm 57, that I can't go back to my mistakes. I can only be grateful for getting better, but also be grateful for moving forward and help people.
Well, as we start to close, what I can say is your business partner, and I think I can speak for the management team and a lot of the staff that we've witnessed, and really appreciate your healing journey, man, because it impacts all of us in the best possible way. What are some things you think about as the leader of this company with me, whether it's motivating the trainers, helping build culture with the front desk staff and the cleaning staff? Like, how is all this work sort of fully integrated into how you approach, this club and the people that do so much hard work for us?
What do I look at it?
No, just like, do you find yourselves pulling? Do you find yourself pulling, relying on all the tools and things that you've developed to help you deal with difficult situations?
100%.
With an employee who might not do something the right way, what have you?
Yeah. So I have taken all of my lessons over the years, 40 years of doing this, and wrapped it all into the last 5 years on all the findings of how to help people. It's interesting because I sit with them. I check in with all of my team daily. I'll see somebody. I'll spend whether it's 30 seconds or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and get to understand where they are today. So I'm always using my tools that I've learned in connection with my team, my members, and if you're out there listening. And you're feeling down, you have to seek help. You have to seek therapy. You have to get to yourself, be honest with yourself, and make the choice to make the work and do the work.
Yeah, lean into this community at Evexia, whether it's just friends at the coffee bar or a connection lab or joining a group or just talking to me and Warren.
Yeah. It's such a powerful tool. And so for me, I just want to help the staff become better. And provide a space where they can be safe and be joyful being here. Worst thing I want to do is have people that are here that don't want to be here. Right. So members included. I want members who want to be here and see it for who we are and how we do things here with intention. We're not doing things to undermine anybody. It's all about the good of the community. Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, that's a wrap, man. Thank you for being honest and open and sharing your healing experience. How'd it feel?
I feel, feels great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm glad we don't have to go to an episode 3.
Well, I'll come up with that episode. It might be. We've talked about it. Some of the things that you and I have gone through as partners and how we've, helped each other. And use tools like this.
And I like to before we wrap it up is get to know Scott. Maybe we'll get you on the hot seat.
Maybe
there'll be an opportunity where Scott Raymond becomes the hot seat.
Scott on the hot seat. Scott's hot seat. We got some good people coming up this next. Yeah, we've got Daria Folsom, one of the most famous news anchors of the Bay Area. We've got Gigi Pollack, who's going to be talking about women's menstrual health.
There you go.
Dr. Molly, who's a new advisor to the company, going to be talking about a bunch of interesting topics. So much more. Check out our old podcasts.
For sure.
Lori, James, Greg Trana, Arjun, Joe Burton. So many great ones.
That is a wrap. Always a pleasure, brother, man. Yes, sir. All right. Woo.